Hey, what's your problem? You have business problems? We have business solutions.
Occasionally.
Well, maybe. Life is a fight.
It is.
In business, every day is a fight.
Oh my gosh.
So, hey, what's your problem?
Yes, it is always something. And this is the What's Your Problem podcast. Thank you, John David Wells. Check him out at the Wells Report. You can find him on Facebook. The What's Your Problem podcast is a show about Middle Tennessee business owners and professionals and that factor that it is always indeed something. This is a new video and audio podcast. Check us out at whatsyourproblempodcast.com. I will tell you that my goal for this year is to have 5,000 average downloads per episode. I can promise you we have a long way to go, but that's okay. We shoot high. That's what you're supposed to do, right? Isn't that what they call the 10X rule? So it doesn't mean that I want to, I would love 5,000. Let's go for that. Maybe I should shoot for 10,000. What do you think? Anyway, whatsyourproblempodcast.com. Go and browse there. Pick your poison. Review, like, subscribe, and share it out, please. That would be wonderful. Doing a lot of clips these days. If you're not following us on Instagram, some highlights of the show and past episodes. You can check us out there. I am your host, Jim McCarthy, with JimMcCarthyVoiceovers.com, and today we've got another guest from BNI, the Wilco chapter, Mrs. Kelly Eikum. I almost said Ms. Isn't that crazy?
Because I look so young.
You do. I mean, you really do. I think the first conversation we had was like, dare I say, surprised by your real age? Because you told me how old you were, and we're going to disclose that here, but, yet you are strikingly young looking. So take it.
I appreciate it.
So,
thank you.
So one of the things that we do, Kelly, as you probably know by now, you have a choice. I brought on a new feature for 2023 called the Dad Joke Challenge. It's a work in progress. You have a choice between that or the Random 5. What do you think you're going to go with?
I think I'm going to go with the dad jokes. I love laughing.
Oh my gosh, here we go. Thank you. Showing some popularity with the DJC. Should we just abbreviate it? DJC, Dad Joke Challenge?
I think you should.
There we go. All right, here we go. This is a feature that we use to get the energy going, have a little bit of fun. And, of course, it is sponsored by it'syourshow.co, the podcast company that specializes in, it's almost like a clip agency. Podcasts are great not only for long-form consumption, but also short form for your social media stuff. Sorry, got distracted. You never know what happens on this podcast. It really does. All right, here's the Dad Joke Challenge. Here's how it works. 5 dad jokes. If you laugh, I score a point. If you don't laugh, you score a point. Not that we're, I guess, keeping score. Maybe I should. You can comment, and you can answer the dad jokes. Fair?
Okay.
All right, here we go. Joke number 1. Why do fathers take an extra pair of socks when they go golfing?
I don't know. Why do they?
It's in case they get a hole in one.
Oh, I almost said that.
You almost said that?
Almost.
There you go. I kind of
That's a pretty good one.
That one. Thank you. Singing in the shower, joke number 2. Singing in the shower is fun until you get soap in your mouth. Then it's just a soap opera. Oh, we laughed.
Okay,
we got our first laugh. There we go.
That's a good one.
Ding for me.
I love laughing.
Okay. Joke number 3. What do a tick and the Eiffel Tower have in common?
No idea.
No idea. They're both parasites. Parasites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I get it.
Question number 4. Joke number 4, rather. What do you call a fish wearing a bow tie?
Don't know.
You don't know. Sophisticated. You are really trying to hold it together, aren't you? She wants to win this thing.
That was a pretty good one. That was cute.
So I think we're going to go with a 4-1 score here, but we got one more joke to go. Here we go. How do you follow Will Smith in the snow?
How do you?
You just follow the Fresh Prince. All right,
I
4-1 it is.
Yeah. Mhm. It's from back in the day. Oh, I'm giving a little away on my age, but
It is back in the day. It's a fun back in the day. There you go. The Dad Joke Challenge brought to you by itsyourshow.co. Check us out if you're in need of a podcast or want your. We've got a series going out there called "How to Make Crappy Podcasts Less Crappy." As a guy working on his own crappy podcast. Check us out, and we'll help you with your podcast as well. From intros, as little as you need us or as much as you need us. Check us out, itsyourshow.co. Gosh, I'm all over the place today. So thank you for coming down here. You're a resident of the Franklin area, correct?
correct.
And you just moved here not too long ago. A little background on Kelly. She works for a company called the ERA Group, and what she does for businesses is, I'm gonna say it very directly, or a little bit
I like direct.
shooting from the hip, I guess.
Okay.
She gives your business a financial butt inspection, anal probe. I mean, it's that's the most crass way to say it, I suppose.
It's a little more direct than I would have been, but
right. And not like an audit. Well, it is an audit, but just
a financial checkup. We'd like to say, yeah.
And you go into businesses and find out if they're overpaying for utilities, for services, things of that nature, and saying, there's a better way.
True.
Right?
Correct.
And you work with a lot of big businesses around here.
We do, and we have a lot of experts in all those categories, so deep industry knowledge to help out.
What's some of the biggest finds that you come across, typically?
It kind of depends on the industry. Mm-hmm. So, within healthcare, would be like medical supplies, things like that, maybe machine costs, equipment rentals. Manufacturing companies, they'll have a lot of logistics and freight, depending on the size and amount of things that they're shipping around the country.
Right.
So it really just depends on the industry. So,
well, how did you get into this line of work? You're a mom to three kids, mm-hmm. right?
3 teenagers, 17, 18, and 19.
Oh my gosh! One right after you knocked them all out every year.
That's just how it worked.
That's right.
That's what God wanted.
Hubby he works for Bridgestone.
He does. Good
That's
memory.
Right. Thank you.
He does enterprise architecture. So we met actually working. We were both consulting in business and technology. And so when we moved here for his job, I kind of had to reinvent myself, just being in a different area.
Right.
And we moved here fall of 2019. So that was right before all the COVID shutdowns.
Right.
So once I got all the teenagers settled, I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. And
so your teenagers at that time were 14, 15, and 16. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you were right in the hormones and all of that fun stuff.
Right.
High school
8th
drama.
grade, couple high schoolers. Yeah, there was a lot going on.
And you moved them across country,
mm-hmm.
or at least away from where everything they've ever known. How did that move? I mean, were they excited about moving to Nashville or upset that we're leaving their base and pulling up roots?
Yeah, that was hard because they'd always lived in the same small town.
Right.
It was a suburb of Chicago, but it was its own little bubble called Western Springs. It's a great place.
Like what we see in all the John Hughes movies?
Sort of.
Really?
They actually filmed one of those in Elmhurst, which isn't too far, about 10 minutes from
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, that was in Chicago. I was thinking Lucas. Do you remember that one?
Yes.
The cicadas. That was in Elmhurst.
That was a Chicago-based movie?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
Or Glen Ellen. Yeah, it was Glen Ellen. Yeah.
I've never been to Chicago.
Oh.
I've been through Illinois, but I've never been to Seatown.
You should go in the summer.
I've heard.
In the winter.
Really?
Yeah.
My brother lives in Detroit, and I always end up visiting him in like January.
Mm-mm. No, you should not go to Michigan in the winter either.
Well, you grew up in that area.
Yes.
Tell me about how you came up. Where'd you go to school? What did you do before kids, before marriage, all that fun stuff?
Yeah, so I grew up out in the Naperville area. So I went to Catholic school. A lot of Catholics up there. St. Joan of Arc in Lisle, and also Bennett Academy in Lisle. So they were awesome schools. And I ended up going to Indiana University for business. My dad was one of the first people that did computers back in the day. And he taught my brothers and I how to code when we were in sixth grade on the Commodore 64 back in the day.
I remember those.
I know. My dad was great. He always would want to teach us how to do things. So when they finally offered it in college or in high school, my senior year, they offered basic programming. So I took that class and I said, I already know how to do this.
Right.
Because he had taught me when I was younger. So that's how I ended up going into business and going the technology route.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have, that's similar to what my father used to do with us. He was like that. He was in the telephone business in New York and programming a lot of phone systems. And at some point, he knew he had to get into learning C, the code program.
I used to do that.
I remember weekends, all weekend long, him sitting at the dining room table with the suitcase of a laptop, the IBM AT.
Oh.
Which had literally a leather handle on the other end. And it was like a giant suitcase with a TV screen and a floppy disk drive and a detachable keyboard.
The floppy disk.
The floppy disk, the big old 7-inch.
When I first started using the big one. Okay.
Yeah.
When I first
Not
started
even the
doing
small one,
it was
3.5.
the smaller one.
Yeah.
3.5.
It was a literal floppy disk back in the day.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember
It was
those.
floppy.
So he...
We're dating ourselves here.
I think in late 70s, early 80s, he was getting into it. We never got much, my brother and I never got much into the programming aspect of things. You know?
I did that out of college, programming. I actually really enjoyed programming, because I could listen to my tunes and I was just in my little world making things happen. And I ended up, when I graduated college, going into consulting with Price Waterhouse. And when I went through the coding route and then we started doing the analysis of systems and talking to people, they're like, hey, you can actually talk to people and you have good problem solving skills. So you're going to go this route. So that's how I ended up doing, the analysis route and project management.
So what you're doing now was born early on. You just didn't know it yet.
Correct.
So programming wasn't a career or?
It was for a while. Okay. And then I went more the project management route because, that was just something that I was good at. Right. So I did that for a good while, and I realized that I loved consulting because every company is different, and my brain likes to move 1,000,000 miles an hour. So I kind of stayed in the consulting world back from early on, which is rare because I feel like people, they graduate, and I think the stats like almost 80% of people don't even use their degree, but I still do because I still do IT project management like 1 day a week with a company.
Right. And that has certainly served you well in what you're doing now.
Correct.
So tell me, did that lead into, family and all that stuff and getting married? Did you still continue to work while you had kids and everything? And
I did, but we had the kids so close in age that it was like really hard for a few years there for me to work. So thankfully I was able to stay home with the kids for a while, and I did some just entrepreneurial things in the home, just all kinds of just different home-based businesses. So
really,
yeah,
like
that
what?
Just started. I sold jewelry for a while.
Okay,
face care. And then I ended up starting up after the kids were a little bit older and in school. I started doing some like web design because I really did like the coding stuff.
Right.
So I did some web design for people and some, updated their websites. And then a girlfriend of mine wanted to do a staging and redesign business. And I'm very on the creative side. So I walk into places and I see, how everything's laid out. And I'm always like, okay, that wall needs to go away and that furniture needs to be rearranged this way. And it's just kind of how my brain works. I'm one of those big picture people.
Is it something that you're passionate about, though, doing that? Like an interior design?
I do like doing all kinds of things.
Right.
And
you don't strike me as somebody who has a job that you hate.
No. I mean, as long as I'm doing different things that are interesting and helping people solve problems, I feel like all of those things are helping people solve problems, and I like to do that. So.
Right. I would imagine that what you're doing now, though, is not a difficult sell, but, making those relationships to where a business owner or a big enterprise will bring you in to say, yeah, go ahead and, let's begin the inspection, the exam. That's how long does that take before you get to that point of, okay, let's go?
It really just depends on the company because, some people they see the value in it immediately, and some people are like, wait, no, how does this work? So it just really depends on the company and, how urgent it is for them to be able to save money.
Are you pretty much on the sales front end? Or are you actually doing the work, going in there and analyzing?
So I am on the sales and the project management side at this point, but I'm actually going through the training to be one of our analysts because back in the day I used to do a lot of data crunching and data analytics, and I love doing that as well. So and I love learning things. So
I mean, you're so right brain, left brain toggling in a way. You know, you eat up the looking at facts and figures. You're an analytic, but at the same time a creative.
Right.
That's a unique skill set. That's almost similar to me, where I can get, into facts and figures and analytics on social media stuff. I could go down rabbit holes on that. Yeah, but when it comes to, taking this stuff out and pulling clips and putting it up on social media, that's, I guess, the creative side, which lately I don't feel very creative, but that's a whole nother story.
It's winter.
Yeah. The more I see the sun, I guess, the better I'll get.
Yeah.
We run a lighting company out of this building, and part of my role is to come up with the marketing tactics and strategies for our product sets moving forward and our services. But, up until recently, we've just kind of getting up on our feet and have a bona fide product set that we can put out there into the marketplace. We're going to be bringing it to trade shows this year and all that fun stuff.
That's exciting.
For me, it's just coming up. Thank you. It's just coming up with all the video content and things like that. Back in my radio days, I just found myself to be we could pull that off, and this could be this. I feel like I'm pulling at straws these days. Must be age, old man brain.
No, I'm telling you, it's the winter.
Think it's the winter? I'll run with that. I'll take you for that. Looking at your career before that and leading up to this, did you ever think you'd be doing something like this?
I thought I would stay in the consulting realm, and the reason I ended up doing this is it's a franchise.
Right.
And when we moved here for my husband's job and got the kids settled, I was just trying to figure out what to do. And I was interviewing with some consulting companies, but during the pandemic, they said, yeah, it's fine. You can work here now, but you're going to have to travel again. And, with the kids being their ages, I wanted to be around because, they need a lot of guidance to figure out what they want to be when they grow up, right?
Right.
So the franchise just gave me more flexibility. And it was just it's a great group of people.
Right.
It's a great company. So, for me, my missing link was I was never really on the sales side, and our company doesn't do a ton of marketing. So that's how I got to meet you at BNI.
You do BNI, yeah.
And you know what? I love people. So networking, I never really did it much before, but I love it.
Well, the good thing is that the moment somebody meets you, at least my perception, is that you're automatically likable, very approachable, friendly, affable, which is a definite strength. When you have, how do you go about prospecting for something like this? It's got to be such a crapshoot, I would think.
It is, but the networking really helps because if I get the word out about what it is that I offer, that I can really help people, reduce their expenses, increase their profitability, especially in this economy.
Yeah.
It's been hard because people are very busy and it's hard to get in to talk to the people that I want to.
Right.
But if I network with other people that talk to the same people that I do, then they can pass the word on too, and I do some other things on my own to try and get in there. So,
what's the capacity of your activity so far? In terms of what is it spent doing, and are you you're handing off the work to the analysts and stuff like that?
Right.
What does that look like on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month?
Yeah, so I do a lot of collaboration. In fact, I have to network within my own organization because I'm on the project management sales side, but I need to understand at least a little bit about all of the expert areas, all the analytical areas, right? So I'm working now with David. He's in logistics.
Okay.
And so we're doing a manufacturing campaign just to try and find, manufacturing companies in Tennessee that need help, with reducing expenses. And his angle is on the logistics side, but we look at the whole spend of a company when we're looking at them. So, for me, I'm, trying to work with different people within the area to do some, networking together. I go to different events. I was just recently at a healthcare conference, just trying to, get the word out there.
Yeah.
Construction summit, because we work with construction. We're not industry specific. So I just try to kind of, go here and there and meet different people, and that's how you find them.
What kind of questions are you looking, or statements that people are making that make your ears perk up?
Yeah, so if people are just, complaining that they might have to lay off employees, right? We're seeing that now again, unfortunately, in the economy. And what's really hard about that is don't realize how much you are investing, right, in those employees. And when you let them go, it's not just their role that's going away. It's, all the knowledge that they've built up over time when they've been with you. So to replace them later is really hard.
Is there, and it's like my marketing brain starts to gear in that direction, starting conversations, finding what the tip of the spear is, to at least, okay, we'll sit down with you. And now you have the opportunity to really dive into what you guys can do. Mm-hmm. Is there a way to posture that, like on LinkedIn, some sort of external marketing device, if you will, to just say, before you look into laying your people off, consider the costs of now you laid them all off. Now you got to bring resources back. Mm-hmm. What are those costs really saving you in the long run? In a year or two, when you got to rebuild your team, how much does it cost you to hire a new employee and do all that stuff? Let's, before you go down that road, what's the cost of bringing us on versus ridding yourself of 20 people? Right? Mm-hmm. Is that a conversation starter for you?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. I mean, and there's also the impacts to the employees that are still there, right? It's a morale buster when people are getting laid off, and then more work falls on them.
It's a butterfly
it's just
effect.
It's so many different things. So if we can help reduce costs through their vendor and through their supplier chain, so that they don't have to lay people off,
you're almost
it's like a win-win.
You're almost like a on a micro level, a culture protector.
I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
It just dawned on me. You're protecting the culture of a business. Let's look at these other things first before you go to the nuclear option, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, if that...
I might use that if that's okay.
Dude, absolutely. That's why we have these conversations. I'm intrigued because we've, in the past, in other businesses that we do with the LED lighting, we've had conversations with cost segregation companies and companies that do of that nature that go in and do the anal probe, the rectal probe, I'll say. That's so crass, I'm sorry. For businesses, which a lot of, when you're inside your own bottle in a business, it's tough to see, objectively and unbiased. Okay, do I need to be spending $500 a month on this? That kind of thing. And those things add up over time.
Nobody has time, and especially in the size companies we work with, small and mid-market companies,
right?
Those owners and those leaders of those companies are wearing so many hats. Like, they just don't have time to spend looking at all of these things. And so that's why it's our niche to come in and kind of supplement for a small period of time, kind of take a look, do a quick analysis. We have a tool, a data analytics tool that looks at the whole spend and uses like 30 years of our experience and benchmark data to identify quickly opportunities to save money or improve business efficiency. So it's like we can turn that around in a couple of weeks and then, provide a lot of value. So the return on investment on that, it can be in the tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars.
How often do you find those alternatives before the nuclear option of laying people off when you brought in?
Yeah. So, our track record is, on average, we find between 10 and 30% savings.
Right.
92% of the time. I mean, so it's pretty high that we can help find somewhere that they're overspending, and we can help renegotiate there. So it's a super cool concept.
So you're handling the renegotiations with vendors and things of that, really?
Yeah. So how it works is we come in and we do that analysis, and then we say, hey, this is where we think there's opportunity to possibly save. What do you want to look at? And sometimes they can take one or two of them on, or, if they want to realize the savings, they'll bring us on to do it. And our team will then go to market and try and find a better, price quality, because it's not always just about the price. It's about the price and the quality. So that has to stay the same or improve.
Right.
There might be some business efficiencies that we can help put in to help save money as well. And then we bring all of those back, and we're working alongside the client the whole time,
right?
And doing some training on how to negotiate, because there's just a lot of different things that go into negotiating those contracts. And then when you finally figure out what you're going to do, most of the time those contracts just go right in the drawer and nobody pays any attention to them.
Yeah.
But we stay and we monitor that, because it's almost 60% of the time that they come back incorrectly. invoices. And so you're paying them, but nobody's paying attention. And so surcharges creep in, or the price might not be right. Quality standards aren't being met, like in the contract. So we stay on and monitor that for 2 years. And then after that time, all the savings money goes back to the client. And most of the time they keep us on to do more because they're really happy with us.
Right. So I would imagine that in our chapter, Mr. Andrew Daniel with AT&T, do you work a lot with him?
So I would like to. I have not had the opportunity yet, but that's one of the things that's nice about BNI is that, there's a lot of other business owners that I can work with. So I like to find local people that when we go to market, I can go to. So I can call Andrew. I can talk to, people that do payroll, IT, all sorts of different things within our network. So it's amazing.
You're expanding your resource base at that level.
Yeah, because when, we go to market, I want to be able to bring in local people that I know, that I trust to take care of my clients, right? Because, I want them to be handled with care.
Dude, buddy, with Andrew Daniel, and I'm addressing the audience, Andrew Daniel is a ninja with AT&T. We had an instance with them at the beginning of 2022 that was just, I think it, probably took 10 years off of my wife's life, just with the plans and the phone calls and the visits. I mean, it had to be a 30-hour ordeal, all told. And I met Andrew, I think in April or May when he joined the chapter, and he goes, "Oh, dude, I don't know what they were thinking here, but you just got to do this." And within 10 minutes, he had it all. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I needed you 3 months ago."
He is like a ninja.
He really is. And if I'll give him a shout out here. If you ever need help with your cell phone plan, be it ATT or another plan, he is the dude. Andrew, I'll tell you where to send the check. But he's a tremendous resource for sure. Anybody else in the chapter that's helped you out a lot, or?
I haven't been able to work with anybody specifically yet, but I do align with a lot of the people in our group. So Jason Dean, who's the fractional CFO, Ashley Pack on payroll, David, who does like the insurance and group benefits packages. Hopefully Barry, because we look at those as well. And so other insurance as well. We've got a new life insurance, Jennifer.
Yeah.
So all of those, we do all of those areas. And so I'm hopefully looking forward to working with them.
Very cool. So moving forward, I mean, from a marketing level, let's do this real quick. And what's your Kelly? You don't seem like you're having problems, but maybe you are. I don't know. So I'll ask.
My problem.
What's your problem?
Yeah, on the business side, just trying to connect with the business owners, right, and business leaders that need my help, because I know they're out there.
Yeah. They just don't know, but it's one of those things that it just, the pitch sounds too good to be true, right? I can save you money. I mean, how many times did they hear that, right?
Right. But the big thing is, for me moving from Chicago, starting out, this is a big thing that you need to network for. So that's why I've been trying to build my network and just kind of get the word out.
It takes time.
Yeah, it takes time.
Coming from Chicago, a lot of the natives around here, the local people that have been, I'll consider myself a native. I think.
How long have you been here?
We've been here since 2005. And I think at that time, if you stayed for 4 years, you would be considered a quote native. In Vegas, when we lived there, if you lived there for 6 months, you were considered a native because it was so transient. How were the people's reactions when they'd find out that you were from Chicago?
Well, there's a lot of people moving here from Chicago.
Oh, I know. California,
so they
too.
always say, they're always like, oh, another one. Yeah. Thankfully, we moved in fall of 2019, so we got in before the housing market got super crazy.
You were a Nashville hipster, so you moved here before it was cool.
Right.
Yeah. I did it way before it was cool. Yeah. Trust me, way before. Back when they called it Nash Vegas, and I'm going, no. This is nothing like Las Vegas, guys. I lived there for 4 years.
No, it's not.
No.
Not at all.
Maybe now it is. Downtown is just so...
it's gotten a little crazy on Broadway.
Yeah. There was actually a Facebook post from a girl who was coming here to celebrate her 40th birthday and a divorce party. So she was bringing 20 people from somewhere, and she wanted to have a good time in Nashville. And she was looking for places on Airbnb or VRBO, and she put up a map of all the different houses and how much they were charging. Are these good areas? And they were pretty, decent areas. And it just got me thinking, like, can you bring that to somewhere else, like Orlando or something? But,
I just like to go down there during the day on the weekends, and just don't like to be down there at night as much anymore.
That sun heats up that urine on the street, and man, you really get that scent.
Ooh, yeah, not like really early in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's a dream client of yours? Well, getting back to your problem was just connecting with more business owners. Marketing issue, right? Advertising.
Yeah, our company doesn't do a ton of marketing, and I'm the only one from our company in Tennessee.
Right.
So they've been around 30 years, and there's 750 worldwide, but there's only 150 in the U.S. And
interesting.
So, yeah.
What are the other people doing that you can kind of glom on and see what they're doing? Other
so
peers?
I network with people that are doing what I'm doing, and we talk about it. And our company's awesome. They offer tons of marketing materials and training and all of that kind of stuff. So
what's the one, positioning statement, 6 words, 10 words that you could say that just sums up what you do? We help,
right?
We touched upon something earlier. We help protect your culture and your employees before you have to go there.
Right. I was talking to Jan Rogers the other day, and he's like, you make CFOs look awesome.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, that is what we do. Because we just come in and we help them, and we, do our thing, and then we leave, and, they're in a much better position after that. Make CFOs look awesome.
I'm thinking of potential LinkedIn ads. Laying off and firing people is never fun. So before you go ahead and do that, let's make absolutely sure you have to do that.
I like it.
Right?
I know I need to post more on LinkedIn.
Well, I mean, there's a big,
do.
Yeah, there's a lot of local people here. Even on Facebook, you'll find somebody, I mean, even ask if shotgun blasting is a technique. Hey, are you getting, wind that your company might be laying people off, going from the employee perspective, and, are you worried about layoffs? From an employee standpoint, then I need to talk to your CFO, whoever's in charge of your expenses, because there might be a chance that they don't have to do that.
Yeah,
there's a 92% chance they don't have to do this.
I like it.
Dude, man, we're having a good convo here.
Wait, we need to talk more about this.
Yeah. You need to send your company this episode.
Right.
And all these little nuggets that we're coming up with.
I like the nuggets.
The nugget, it's basically baking it down to the ridiculous. What problem do you solve? What problem do you solve?
I do. I need to do that more.
Yeah. We talked about this.
Inflation, that's another one. That's another big one.
That's huge.
Because costs are going up. How do you know if what people are charging you now?
Right.
Makes sense, right? Because we have benchmarks, like our analysts know exactly what something should cost, and they base it on something real instead of just saying, oh, costs are going up, let's just raise it 20%,
Once you do start the conversation with a CFO or somebody in that role that's responsible for that, what are your chances of getting the deal?
We are running, it's about a 70% right now because, and I think part of that is just what's going on in the economy and inflation. People need to just kind of get their ducks in a row, and you want to have that extra cash on hand just to weather the storm.
What about really, truly authentic and hard-hitting testimonial videos from previous clients?
Yeah, we have those on our website, and tons of case studies, and expensereduction.com is the name of the website, and there's just all kinds of material out there.
Expensereduction.com is that's the corporate website?
It is. And so our name currently actually is Expense Reduction Analysts.
Yeah.
But we're changing it to the ERA group right now because we do more than expense reduction.
Right.
Because we help with business efficiencies, but also sustainability. That's a huge thing with our European group, and it's moving over here to the U.S.
But what starts all the conversations?
With what?
Like to introduce everybody to everything else that you do, what's the tip of the spear? What gets those conversations? What the company does gets the conversations going? Is it the expense reduction and the
depending? I mean, like a lot of companies in Europe are needing to have vendors that are showing sustainability based on some of the new laws that they've put in. So, sometimes they're coming to us for help with sustainability in their supply chain.
Right.
Sometimes, it's
so in certain
just
markets,
straight cost reduction.
In certain markets, that's what's starting the conversation is sustainability, green, eco-friendly type of initiatives, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Okay. What about here in your local backyard? What's the biggest thing that you do that gets conversations going, that starts them?
For here it's cost reduction, right? On so many different levels because everybody's bleeding cash somewhere.
Right.
And most of the time, they just don't know. They're really good at managing like 20% of their vendors, which is 80% of their spend.
Right.
But the rest of it, it's just too cost prohibitive for them to spend time working on that. So I say we're cash flow positive because we don't, we take our fee out of some of the savings. And so we're just bringing in money that they wouldn't even have looked at. They would not have had the time to even consider.
So it's truly a what do you have to lose proposition.
Yeah.
Because you're counting on the savings paying your fees. Mm-hmm. You take a percentage of that, right? And it's kind of a win-win in a way. Okay, so there's really no risk for anybody to do this.
We take on all the upfront risk, but we know we're going to, be able to find savings. So
there's a lot in the marketing aspect, there's a lot of things that, hey, we'll save you money. There's no risk to you. There's a lot of too good to be true claims that need substantiating. Right? Mm-hmm. Because there are a lot of cliche claims that are happening. And I'm not saying that as a detriment. It's just that's what humans perceive. Every time on LinkedIn, if you make a connection with somebody, they're hitting you up with their 1.5-page long pitch of, hey, thanks for connecting. Let me tell you about all the things that I can do for you. Blah, 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 blah. And they eviscerate themselves.
No, I don't like to do that.
But that's, I know you don't do that. But how many of these CFOs, these C-level people are getting hit up? Constantly.
All of them.
Right.
And so that's why the networking is so important.
It is. Right? Yeah, definitely the mouth, word of mouth advertising and warm referrals always do help out.
Right.
At the same time, it's just finding out what's going to penetrate and be salient.
Right.
Right. And really make sure that you rise above the noise with claims that are substantiated. Yeah.
And that's why our case studies
I'm a fan of what you do. Don't get me wrong. I really am.
I hear you.
Yeah.
You're right.
But I'm like, there's such what's the simplest way to describe what you do?
Yeah.
I mean, I make CFOs
I struggle with
good.
that because it's
you're inside of it.
Yeah.
You're on the inside of your own bottle. You can't read the label.
I need a catchy phrase.
I think you have a multitude of them. I think Dan Rogers helped you out. I make CFOs look great. Mm-hmm. I help protect your culture before
I like that one a lot.
Before you,
it's so important.
It really is because it's so short-sighted to just lay people off and not realize how much it's going to cost down the road to bring them back on.
Exactly. And businesses a lot of times are so successful, the ones that take care of their employees, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that are, doing all the work and making you look good. So
before AI takes over, yes. And
it's not going to happen. I just was reading an article about a company or a news outlet that was using one of the AI tools to write stories, but then there were all these errors that were in there. I mean, let's just get a proofreader in there. But
I've been using it for thought starters. So inspiring ideas, podcast descriptions, which I'll write me a podcast description about blah, 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 blah. It comes up with a paragraph. Great. Now I go into I massage it to make it custom.
Yeah. Okay. See, I like that. Wait, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, you might as well. But I mean, that's
why I love talking to people. It's how you get ideas.
So more networking for you. What about posting something once a day?
I need to post more.
Yeah.
My goal for this quarter is to post once a week. So I'm going to start there.
Kick it up a couple of times a week.
I know.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
And on LinkedIn.
I do have a lot to share, so I might as well get it out there on LinkedIn.
Mrs. Ashley Bright, with her bountiful knowledge and value that she brought to the episode a couple of months ago. We should go listen to that episode. I can't remember what number it was, but go to whatsyourproblempodcast.com. Look in there. You'll be able to find her episode. I asked her about hacking LinkedIn. LinkedIn is tough, man. There are only a few people, and they seem to post, really highly stylized, almost glamour or Vogue-esque pictures of themselves with these really long bodies of text, almost blogs. And they get a ton of response, public speakers, thought leaders, things of that nature. So I don't know if maybe video's going out the door, but on those people's posts, what I've been doing, thanks to Ashley Bright, she says, post 5 comments, intentional comments on some of these people's comment threads. They want engagement. They want people to, like and, but make sure they're intentional. Make sure they have something to do with what was said in the original post that you're responding to. Not just, hey, oh my gosh, 100%. I agree with you. That's so, you've really dropped some bomb. That kind of stuff is not helping anybody. So 5 times before you post and then 5 times after you post something.
Okay.
So
I'm
I've
on
been
it.
trying with that strategy. So
And
far,
I'm
so
going to
good.
talk to Ashley.
Yes, I would agree. So
Awesome.
how else can people look out for you and find, other opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, just if people are complaining at their business that they're struggling because, inflation, because of, maybe having to lay people off.
Yeah.
And, it's hard to, in a tight labor market, you don't want to lay people off because you won't be able to get them back. So,
We put the fun in audit. How about that? No?
no.
This is a
I do like to bring fun.
This is a fun financial rectal exam. This 92% chance this will be a good thing.
A good thing that won't
Right.
take you a lot of time. That's the other thing, right? Because
Right.
everybody's so busy.
Your day doesn't change, and you might find a treasure trove of savings.
Okay, I like that.
It's
I
a
like the treasure
financial high.
trove.
If it's a financial high colonic, right?
I'm not using that. you just keep
I'll
going
say
at
it.
it. But
I'll say it. You clip
you
these
can
out.
say it to people. Bring them to me. It's fine if they like it.
Right.
It's all good.
But I mean, at the end of the day, that's kind of what it is. And it's not the IRS doing it, so that's even better.
I like to think of it more on the financial health check,
Right.
and not go into some of those details.
But to me, from a marketing standpoint, that
Yeah.
that line of thought just punches through.
Yeah,
That
because
just
it's
cuts
interesting.
through. It
and
is.
It's different.
Right. You don't have to be as crass as I'm being. I'll be that for you.
Okay.
And you can pass this on to your higher ups and be like, don't ever talk to that guy ever again. Or they'll be like, oh my gosh, he's onto something. Who knows?
Right.
You know.
No, I mean, I'm just looking to help companies drive more cash to their bottom line, right? Who doesn't want that?
Give me an if you statement. Look, and you're talking to all the CFOs out there or people like them. Look, if you continue the thought.
If you are under pressure to increase your cash flow, talk to me. I can help.
There we go.
I'll have to work on that a little bit.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking here, and it's, there's so many different ideas. I've just been talking about how not creative I am. Can you make it a rhyme?
Oh, rhyme.
We're the 5-0 for your cash flow.
What? Why 5-0?
I don't know.
5-star?
We police your cash flow. Did you? Maybe you need a shirt like this. It says cash flow.
Stop it. Where'd you get that? I love that. I need some of those.
Well, I got it from Cardone.com.
I love it.
Yeah, he's big on cash flow. That's his big thing.
Oh, I didn't know that. But I should be wearing those around, I think. People can ask me about it. No, maybe not.
Ask me about your cash flow. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
What about my cash flow? I don't know. Let's sit down and talk about it. How's it doing?
Right.
Ask me about your cash flow. I like the juxtaposition. Brainstorming here on the What's Your Problem podcast. I mean, you can't beat it. Doesn't get any better than this. Any other
Right.
ideas? I mean, it's making it as almost
Simple.
Neanderthal as possible. This is what I do. This is the problem that I solve. And I think a lot of businesses get caught up in the sky talk and the vanilla happy talk, corporatese. Okay, throw that crap all away and just hit me direct. So there you go.
Okay. We'll work on that.
Yeah. Well, did you have fun?
I did have fun.
Good.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, this is always fun talking to you.
I know. I enjoy talking
Even
to
though I
you.
feel like I'm pushing the envelope with you.
That's
in a
okay.
way.
I like that.
Yeah. So
Keeps things interesting, makes people laugh. That's what we need more of in this world.
do you engage
Laughter,
mostly on LinkedIn?
Kindness. I do.
That's your jam, Facebook,
Yeah,
LinkedIn?
Facebook, I don't know. Okay, so coming from a tech background,
Yeah.
I always feel like when I'm posting things out there or putting things out there, they're just out there forever, and it
Right.
makes me nervous. So I'm not a big Facebook poster, and I think that's what's making me more hesitant on the LinkedIn side, but I have to do it. So
Yeah, it's free advertising, relatively.
well, it's that, but I really do believe that I can help people.
Yeah.
And so I need to get out there and tell them that I can help them and tell them how I can help them.
In video interviews that I've done in the past, I ask this question a lot, and I'm surprised I didn't ask you this. What is it that you believe about what you do?
I believe that I can help companies succeed, right, and reach their goals by helping them improve their cash flow, because if they want to grow their business, expand, add a new location, hire more staff, like they need cash flow for that. And if you can find it in your vendor chain, right, by reducing your spending, then you don't have to borrow it from a bank, so you're not as leveraged, and it's a win-win. So I feel like everybody should want to talk to me and have us take a look.
Can I give you a belief statement and maybe you can agree with it or not?
Absolutely.
If someone were to ask you, hey, what do you do? Well, let me tell you what I believe about what I do. I believe I help I help people keep their jobs.
I like that.
I believe I'm helping business cultures all around Middle Tennessee.
Yep.
Most importantly, the employees that work for these businesses. And I believe I'm helping and protecting the time it took for the business owner to build his business and go through all, how many employees you have to find the one, how long does it take you to find in our business? It takes 15 people on average to find the one person that's going to work out.
Yeah. And you don't want to have to lay that.
Do you really want to go through that again?
Right.
We're bringing back your existing team before they find other jobs, and they most likely will. Because, before you put them at odds, let me, be the 5-0 for your cash flow.
Right. And, in today's market, to keep people, some salaries are going up, right? So you need more cash to make that happen.
That is true.
Yeah.
So where can people find you? Mostly LinkedIn.
Yes.
Okay. We'll put your link in the description, and people can find and follow Kelly.
Perfect.
Right there, and we'll go from there. Thank you for coming out today. And they can check everything out at expensereduction.com.
Correct.
Okay, the ERA group. Very cool. Anything else you'd like to add?
I would like to thank you for having me today.
You're very welcome.
It's been delightful. And thank you for helping me share my message and hone my message.
Yeah.
I love that.
I like having these conversations. Well, there you go. Check us out. And thank you for listening and watching along. And go to whatsyourproblempodcast.com. Again, 5,000 episodes or 5,000 downloads per episode is what we're shooting for in 2023. If you're leaning towards helping me do that, I'd be really appreciative, because it's a massive, massive boost to what we're doing here. And if you know somebody in the Middle Tennessee area that would love to just kind of, chew the fat, it's a very casual, very free-flowing conversation. It's not an infomercial. And we'll find out what the problems are and discuss them. And maybe it's a problem you're having. Who knows? But also, if you're looking to, be the 5-0 to your cash flow, you need to talk to Kelly. So reach out to her as well. whatsyourproblempodcast.com. Like, subscribe, share, and review. Really appreciate it. Kelly, once again, thanks for coming out.
Thank you.